Hey everybody, welcome back to the Survival Heights Season 2 world. Today is a very special video because today I am doing a world tour of this world for 1500, I can put it on here, 1500 Minecraft days that we have finally reached here in this world. I've already done two previous world tours, one for 500 days and one for 1,000 days. If you want to go back and check out some of those to see how the world has progressed over time, feel free to check those out. There should be a card up in the top right hand corner, and or these may even be in a playlist at this point. I'm not really sure. Anyways, I'll have a world download of this down in the description below as well if you're curious to join this world for yourself and check out all the things we've done in person. Obviously it'll be in hardcore mode, but there'll still be a world download down there, so feel free to check that out. It's a little MediaFire link. It should be pretty simple to get into a saves folder so you can look around in it. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us go ahead and get on into this tour. So I was standing down there, but what we really started this world is way up here. You can see some torches up here. This is where I first spawned into the world. This little block right here marks the exact position. I don't even know if I even have a screenshot of the coordinates of this. The exact position that I first spawned into the world in these spawn chunks. And you see this little door over here. This opens up. If I head down here, you'll see that I have my wooden pickaxe down here, my first wooden pickaxe and my first wooden tools and stuff, first furnace, crafting bench as well, and where I tried to dig down because I was trying to see if I could get off this ledge. And the first thing I did, I took a boat. If you can always go back to the very first episode if you guys are curious to actually see this, but I took a boat and I jumped into the water down there and I swam around a little bit with the boat, tried to figure out exactly where I wanted to have a base, and I finally came back here and settled on this little area right here. So now we're heading on into the main area that I've worked on in this world thus far. This is the starting area. So of course this is my starter house right here. Fairly simple design. If we walk into here, you'll see the carpeted areas here, my little treasure room, which still hasn't gotten filled up, but it really needs to at some point. An enchantment area right here as well. We have the bedroom in here or just really a single bed right here with some furnaces, ender chests, some extra storage right here. And if I go all the way down to the bottom, we have our storage area here, which will need to get expanded at some point, but this is the storage area that we currently have. I should also probably mention as we head down this way, there is an initial place that I first started in this world, and that's down here in our starter cave area. So when I first got to this area, there wasn't all these crop fields here. It was just a whole bunch of trees and empty area here. And I said, I want to go underground, make sure I get my diamonds first, make sure I go into some sort of cave, block myself in, and create a mine. So you'll see right here, I decorated the cave a little bit here. You'll also see this door right here. If we walk into here, my initial storage area, along with my initial bed, furnaces, and the initial enchantment setup that I first had, along with a little mining area down here, which eventually is down into some caves. I have some strip mine or some branch mines down there, but I don't really use those, so it's not really anything worth exploring. So the main area of this main base area is kind of split into two parts. It's kind of the idea behind it. So you'll see right here, this little divider right here. This breaks the two parts of the main base area, or really the first village area, if you will, right here. So we have the crop fields over here, the mixture of wheat, potatoes, carrots, cow pen over here. There's a pig pen way over there, which you probably saw earlier, and a sheep pen right in the middle right there. And you'll also see a miniature sugarcane farm over here. I don't really use this all that much, but it's nice to have an automatic way of getting sugarcane, even if I want to expand this at some point, but even though it's small, it's still good to have this area over here. And actually, if we walk up here, you'll be able to see we have a little bit of sugarcane. Nice. You'll see some of the hay bales and some of the leaves and stuff decorated around here. One of the more recent additions, some of the scarecrows that you'll see around here with the colored leather chest plates. But on this other side over here, you'll see the main village area over here, which hasn't been worked on in quite a while because I've been working on some other projects, but it's definitely not done. This is the main farming village area. So I really just made some, if I can stop lagging. That's one of the problems with this world as well. I should probably mention it is amplified. So with amplified, along with some of the chunk border issues that I've been having, as you can see right there, where you lag going across chunk borders, has led to some lag issues here, but that's an issue for a different day. What you will see here is a whole bunch of different village house designs, and the idea behind these was to use some of the natural things that occur in the area around here. So oak wood, you'll see some of the birch there, you'll see some of the bricks and some of the granite as well, which I love to use as sort of a base block for a lot of the houses around here. And what you'll also see is that a lot of these houses follow a similar design. They not only have the same color palette, they're very similar designs as well. The idea behind this farming village was that maybe one day we'll eventually have some farming villagers here. But for the most part, this was sort of meant to be just a whole bunch of houses that whenever I wanted to build a new house, I could just come over here, build a new house in a similar veins with a similar style, and eventually if we add enough houses over time, it'll actually look pretty cool. So you'll see some extra houses I built up here. None of these have interiors yet, which I will get to at some point, but this is probably my favorite view of the entire village. You'll see the Fallout's Flora over there, which is an Easter egg redemption. Easter egg? I believe it was Easter egg over on my Twitch stream as well, which is linked down below if you guys don't know that I stream over on Twitch. As well as you'll see all the different house designs here, which I'm pretty proud of how full this area looks. Now there's still a lot to do here, but for now, along with the pathways and how the pathways are coming and the number of leaves here and the number of houses here, I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out so far. Before I forget, the other thing I should probably mention, if we fly down the pathway here, you'll see this huge nether portal right here as well. One of the things I always love to do in my amplified worlds, or really just any world that I work in at this point, is create a fairly large nether portal to add to the area. So this one's made out of granite and brick and oak and some leaves, combined with some coarse dirt and slabs and fences and things like that, in order to bring about this, to sort of bring this portal into the whole atmosphere that we have over here at the farming village with the same color palette and things like that. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this portal. Normally it's something that people like, but some people don't like large portals as well, but I think it turned out pretty well here. You also in the middle here see this iron farm that's still working. This is a logical Geek Boy design. Very simple iron farm, just using 6 villagers in 2 separate areas where iron golems can spawn with a bobbing zombie in the very middle. I've used this one quite a bit for a lot of iron and I'm very happy with how it's turned out. So I think I did an episode on that one. You can go back and watch that if you're looking for how I built it, as well as the logical Geek Boy tutorial for how to actually build it. So one of the larger projects that I've been working on in this area, actually let me up my render distance real quick so that you can get more of this in, but one of the larger projects I've been working on more recently in this area and just basically got finished up recently is this over here, which is my villager trading hall. So if we hop down there, let me put on my lights here real quick. We'll hop down there, you'll be able to see all of the different platforms that we have here and each of the stalls here, which are filled with all the different kinds of villagers. So you'll see fishermen here, but I mean, we're talking, we have all armorers and clerics and librarians and any kind of villager you can think of besides the nitwits. Any kind of villager that has trades, we have them here. And the idea behind this, right, I initially saw this area when I first came, or I initially saw this specific area within this larger area when I first came in order to settle in this area, because I really wanted to have a place where I could showcase the villagers, not just have them in some sort of hole or in some sort of huge building, but really showcase the villagers and make it easy for me to fly in and out. And that's what this area does. You'll see some of the custom terrain around here that I built. You also see on each side here, got some villagers. You can't really see the villagers from here, but each one of these stalls is actually filled in with villagers. So you see some of them down there. You see some farmers and stuff down here, all kinds of villagers around here. And I use this quite a bit. You'll see that I'm at 65 levels. I've been up into the 150s before, and most of those levels come from trading with these villagers. So I'm really happy with this area. Apart from the fact that it's really laggy, and if you can tell, if I put on the F3 screen, you'll see that there are 363 entities in our view. Most of those are villagers, and that's what lags this area more than anything else, is the number of villagers. You wouldn't think so, but villagers, if you have enough in a specific area, do provide quite a bit of lag. And where do we get all these villagers? Well, we got them up here. This is a logical Geek Boy, pretty simple infinite villager breeder design. It's currently turned off right now, but this is how I've gotten every single one of my villagers after the first 2 or 3 I got from a nearby village that I transported here through the Nether. So you can see the basic design here. I'll let you guys go back to a previous episode if you guys want to check out exactly how this was built, and make sure you check out the Logical Geek Boy tutorial if you want probably the best tutorial for how to build this. So you'll see some of the rails around here as well. This is how I've been transporting the villagers. You'll see down here that there is still some rails here. This is because I've been turning the villagers into zombie villagers, purifying those villagers over and over and over again to get the minimum trades that I can. So usually one carrot for an emerald or whatever the trade might be. And that's what this over here is for. This is my zombie purification station area. So you'll see the zombie in here. Basically the way that this works is that the villager will come out of the holding area right there. I can press the little button. Actually, I can technically press the button over here because I wired it all the way up to here using redstone and whatnot. You can take the villager all the way across here. The first thing that I'll make it do, usually with these levers, this is how I dictate where the rail is going to go, where inevitably where the villager is going to go. First thing the villager does, it comes into here. I'll let it sit in there next to the zombie. If I go out of view, eventually the villager will turn into a zombie villager. After this zombie attacks at a certain number of times, I can flip this lever and I'll put the zombie villager into one of these stalls. There are 6 stalls here, so I usually get 6 villagers at a time, and I make sure that they get to the lowest possible trades. After that, I go ahead and send them back this way. There's a little lever over here. Actually, if we go over to, there's a little lever right there that I can flip in order to send the villagers down this way into wherever I've designated that the villagers need to go with the rails. So a pretty cool little system. I've made up a lot of it on my own. This one by the name of Geek and Ninja did a huge table basically that goes over all of the minimum, like the number of times you need to purify a villager in order to get the minimum trades possible. So I've been using that a lot. And using a lot of this rail system as well. There's some redstone built into it as well. As you can see, if I hit this button, it'll turn on these powered rails here. Each one of these is separately wired, which has helped quite a bit for working with the villagers. So I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out, and this is pretty much our permanent setup from here on out. And of course, there are still a few more villagers that I want to sort of get down to those minimum trades, but for now, this is how we've finished that up. Moving on from here, there's a few miscellaneous things that I haven't covered yet. We have the Twitch partner check mark here, which is a little basically monument with a little pool area here that's signified whenever I was accepted to the Twitch partner program back in June of 2021. It was a pretty cool thing. You've got an Easter egg over here that was redeemed by Mr. Crazy Cool as a little like crash site whenever we updated this world from 1.16 to 1.17, because this world did start back in the beginning of February of 2021. So as of the recording of this video, February of this year. So we actually did start this world with 1.16, which is pretty cool. Another thing, if I go down here, there's another Easter egg. Another one redeemed by Mr. Crazy Cool, I believe, which is like basically a little fisherman's dock area, basically with a little dog named Tizzy here. You see some of the interior elements of it right here. You'll see the little waterfall area with a heart here I made when my girlfriend MathGeek23 ended up redeeming this. So you'll see some of the decorations I made here. It's not completely complete. There's some things I would like to do to it, but I think it is a nice little area for this world over here. And unless I'm mistaken, I believe that's all the main stuff here in the main base area. If I did forget anything though, those of you who've watched the series and here on YouTube and have followed things over on Twitch, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below and make sure we hit all the major things down there in case I missed anything. One of the big things over in the water area over here was my initial mob farm. So I did an episode on this as well, but basically this is a 3-level dark room spawner mob farm. There's basically 4 platforms per level. And I use this quite a bit for pretty much all of my gunpowder needs, a lot of my bone needs, stuff like that. I still use this mob grinder to this day. It does a good enough job. It's not perfect, it's not the most efficient, but it's done a good enough job for me thus far. You can see the mobs falling down here, and it's pretty easy to just swing your sword and kill the mobs manually like that. Would it be nice to decorate this? Absolutely. It's something I would love to do for the future, as well as get a better mob farm in the future, because this is really simple to build and isn't the most efficient, so a more efficient one would be cool, but for now, it does what I need. If we drop down here, you'll see some of the chest areas that I have here, and all the different materials and stuff I've gotten as I've used this area. So pretty cool. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of the older stuff. Now we're moving on, I guess outside of the villager trading hall, which is a little bit newer, but now we're moving on to the stuff that I've spent most of the last 500 or so days, actually more than that, but I've really focused in on it over the last few hundred days, which is this area over here. So right next to my spawn area, we have an ocean monument. And so this entire thing has already been drained. You'll see I have a cactus farm here. I actually needed that for dyes and stuff for glass. You'll see if we go into this area, I have a very, very simple little storage area down here. As you can see, lots of chests here, lots of cobblestone from digging things out, lots of prismarine blocks as well, because I've actually dug out the inside of the ocean monument as well. So that's where a lot of those prismarine blocks have come from. But the idea of this ocean monument build, folks, is that we have this sort of glass layer around the outside to keep a lot of the water out. I have this single layer waterfall basically right here. As you can see, I'm kind of, I don't know what's happening here. You see that I have this single layer waterfall. I thought it would be a pretty cool effect. As you can see, basically water flowing down all around this monument. But the idea here, ladies and gentlemen, is a floating island, a custom floating island with a ocean monument on top, with a guardian farm on the interior. Now the guardian farm part is still the part that I'm working on. But if we drop down here, you'll be able to see the actual floating island portion right here. So pretty big floating island. Initially, I basically dug everything out around this and shaped my own custom floating island. You'll see some of the glowberries hanging down. You'll see some moss. You'll see some tuff. You'll see some andesite, stone, grass blocks, dirt, all that stuff mixed together. And the further down you go, the more you get into deep slate. So as you can see down there, we've added in some deep slate for the area, some cobble deep slate, regular deep slate, mixing some tuff with that as well. The idea of this is like if the island were to actually rise out of the ground, I think it would look mostly, or at least somewhat realistically like this. This isn't super realistic, but it would look somewhat realistically like this. So that was the idea here. Kept the ores in as well, because I think that those look pretty cool. You'll see the slime spawning here as well, because there's a few slime chunks in here. You'll also see the black glass here. If you look down, it almost looks like a little fog effect right here. That's the whole point of the glass. So it's alternating layers, as you can see, every other layer of black glass for 7 layers. And that's what we've been using to get the fog effect. So I think it's turning out pretty well though. If we actually head up here, I'll need to go to sleep soon, but we can probably head inside of the ocean monument here. You'll see some of the little slimes redemptions here that that are still flopping around. But head up in here, you'll be able to see that I've completely cleared out the inside of the ocean monument in preparation for making a guardian farm, which is one of the next stops here. So that'll happen pretty soon. I have a single beacon in the middle here, but hopefully we'll upgrade this at some point. I only really have 2 beacons right now. One I use for haste mining, and then one I have for haste here for digging out the inside of digging out a lot of the areas. And I use this for sand as well as placing glass and digging out the inside of the monument here. That's what this haste beacon is for. And of course, we cannot forget yet another Easter egg redemption of my Twitch channel, which is the battle between Lulz and Karina, with Jen holding the bell, ringing the bell, if you will, to start the fight. That was a pretty cool little build. Basically, it has the lava around it. It's a little floating island in the middle here in the middle of the ocean. And it's Lulz versus Karina, friendly battle of 2021. You see this little battle here with the swords on the sides, and Jen there in the middle with the bell. So I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. I don't really do things like this all that often, so it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I was quite happy with how this turned out. Anyway, outside of a few small things here and there, I think we have an auto smelter here. If I go this way, I believe we have another Easter egg, which is a tree. I believe Swinsy redeemed. That's over here in the middle of the desert that I've been using. This is my mining desert, basically, that I get all my sand from, that I have used to make glass and whatnot, for all the black glass that you saw, as well as the glass around the edge of the ocean monument area. But apart from those things, you can see the mob farm up there as well. Apart from those things, I believe that's all the main areas of the overworld, at least, that I've done so far. It doesn't seem like a lot, but we spent a ton of time over at that ocean monument, as well as working on this main base area. I like to have maybe 2 separate projects going on max at once. 1 is too little for me, 3 is probably too many. So having 2 projects that I work on, basically alternating, is what I always love to have. You'll see a few small details around here that I probably missed. You'll see the Steve throne right here. Praise Steve. You'll also see over here, you'll see the little tunnel area over here that we can use. I don't often use it that often. We can use to go up to the main house area. So this little tunnel right here with hay bales and stuff, water stream going up, water drop coming down. And I'm sure I've missed things, so feel free, like I said before, leave me some comments down below if you remember any of the things that I may have missed outside of the wheat fields. Can't forget the wheat fields. Gotta say that as many times as possible. So I think our next stop is gonna be into the Nether. Let's head on in. I've got my golden helmet on. Let's head on in here. Hopefully we don't die. We don't die. I've got a few named cows in here as well. Swinsy's here. Bob Bovine is here. But this is where I spawned in the Nether. So we spawned into a basalt delta. Not a great spawn, but we take it. It is what it is. We work with it. So I have this little pathway coming around here. You'll see some of the cows sort of have trickled their way into here. And there really isn't much here in the Nether. I don't have a Nether hub or anything like that. I have some pathways going around, but that's really it. I have taken on bastions. I have taken on ghast that like to ruin my pathways, apparently. Yeah, these ghast definitely love to ruin my pathways. I don't know why, they just do. So yeah, I've taken on bastions, I've taken on numerous nether fortresses as well. Nothing's really been built there, but I've definitely taken on some. Where I'm going to right now actually is how we get to the end portal, and that's where the other main attraction I would say of this world is. A bit of a treacherous journey to get here. We really need to put the nether portals on top of the nether ceiling. I haven't done that yet, but that would usually be a good idea to do that so I don't have to deal with all these ghasts, because there's some things about this place. There we go, perfect shot. Like that, a little lava pool right there, that are not safe, and that's why I have this fire resistance potion on my hotbar in case I actually need it. But if we keep hopping our way over this way, if I keep hopping up here, we'll eventually reach this portal. So this portal heads to the end portal room, which is not decorated, but it does lead to the end. Good old end portal room right here. We'll need to get decorated at some point, but if we hop into the end portal, you will see right in front of me, once everything loads in, we have an ice tunnel all the way to our Enderman Farm. So I decided to go, at least decoration wise, similar to what we did with the farming village, which is a lot of the bricks, granite, birch, and oak as well. This design is by my friend GP, also a fellow Afterlife SMP member. I did a whole episode where I built this thing as well. He's done a great tutorial on this farm as well, so I definitely recommend checking that out if you're curious on how to build this. The farm itself is fairly simple. It's really just a big semicircle where the Enderman can spawn, and they'll basically find the Enderman, or the Endermite, if you will, that's in a minecart at the very center, and they'll pathfind to it and fall down some holes, as you can see here. Lots of Endermen have already been falling down here. We've got some pretty manual storage over here for Ender pearls. We do have this little lever right here, which if I let it run, that. I'm not even sure which way, but essentially if I throw in an ender pearl, say I throw in an ender pearl. You sort of heard that a little bit right there. That is the system that dispenses ender pearls into the void, so we don't have a whole bunch stacking up right here. So that's currently turned on. We also have an enchantment set up over here with a few small things here and there. But that's really it for this area. There isn't a whole bunch here. I have water going around the sides, mainly because I don't want Enderman to teleport on top of this thing. But apart from that, that's really it for the end dimension. I haven't done a whole lot here, mainly because I haven't really needed to do a whole lot here. We really just need that Enderman farm. That's my main source of XP in this world. So I really just need a tunnel to cover myself, and that's about all I've wanted to do. Most of what we've done in this world has been over in the overworld. We hop into this portal. Home bed was obstructed. Who would have thought? But I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's actually all that we've done in this world. Mainly because the last few hundred days have been working on the villager trading hall, as well as working on that massive ocean mining project. So lots more to come once we finish that ocean mining project. Yeah, once we finish that project, a lot of stuff is gonna be moving forward from that. But before we end off this world tour, something that I usually do in the past and I will continue to do is show you all my statistics. Now you can download the world and see these for yourself, but in case you're curious about the more important statistics, obviously the 1500 days, but it has taken me just over 13 and a half real life days. If I were to play 24 hours a day for 13 and a half days in a row, that's how we would get to this portion in this world. So I think it's about 325 hours or so is about where we're at. So by the time we get to 2000, I expect it'll be something closer to 450 to 500 hours, which is a lot of hours to put into a world. I don't know if I've definitely never put this many hours into a hardcore world before, but I don't even know if I put this many hours into any single player world before. Some come close, but yeah, this is by far one of my longest worlds, so I'm definitely happy about that. Quick look at some of the item statistics as well. I'll quickly go through some of these. The times mine stone takes the crown for that. Pickaxe is broken, iron pickaxes of course. I placed black stained glass the most, which is pretty cool. I used another pickaxe the most, picked up the most sand, and dropped the most netherrack. And if we head over to mobs, yes, mobs. Most mobs I've killed out of anything. You can see the creeper number right there. You can see a few other numbers right here, but the big one, if I get to it, isn't it Enderman? I thought it was Enderman. Yes, it is. 9,273 Enderman killed, all from that Enderman farm. So that shows you the power of how powerful Enderman farms are and why you should always have one in your world, in my opinion. So outside of that, I believe that's all these statistics. We can take a look at the advancements as well if you guys are curious about those. I haven't completed all of them for sure. But these are the main ones I've done in the Nether area, the adventure area. Some of these I definitely need to look into. We need to look into respawning the Ender Dragon at some point. We got most of the end stuff. Husbandry, got a lot of these as well. And over in the main Minecraft one, we actually do have all of these advancements. Because I've been doing a lot with villagers and whatnot, is how we got a lot of the villager ones, but obviously a lot more advancements to take care of in the future. But I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that is everything, all the main stuff at least for this world tour. I keep saying it and I'll keep on saying it. If you want to explore this world further, feel free to check out the world download in the description below. If you want to stay tuned for the journey in this world, I do have a YouTube series that I run with this. I do stream twice a week over on twitch.tv/whitefire from this world. So definitely make sure to check those things out if you want to stay updated with how the world is progressing as the time rolls on. This is amplified hardcore, so who knows when we'll die and this world will end, but I've been loving it so far. And hopefully you all will come along with the ride, and hopefully you all will enjoy the ride with me as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap things up for this world tour. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like. If you're new to the channel and have not subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe to stay up to date for videos from this series, or really any of the other videos I may put up on this channel. But anyways, folks, that's going to wrap it up today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.